Hello, I'm Frank Crane, and I'm a counselor at the Embry-Riddle Counseling Center. May I have your attention? What I just did here was an experiment. Generally speaking, when most of us hear those words, what follows, may I have your attention, is some kind of bad news. For example, the flight has been canceled and we're going to have to spend the evening in Elmira, or words to that effect. I remember when I was a kid, back in the good old days, our teachers would often say that to us because it was very, very hard in those days, or in any days, to get a group of young kids to pay attention to anything. So that phrase came up quite a bit. Anyway, attention is not any easier as a problem. It's always been difficult for everybody. Maybe it's way, way more now with the internet, but we're not exactly gifted at attention. Um, as Dr. Amishi Jha says, attention is powerful. It's probably the most powerful force we have. Paying attention to things is what allows us to make discoveries and learn things and invent things and create art and so on. But attention is also fragile. It's easily broken down. But, another but, attention is trainable. And Dr. Jha went on a quest recently to come up with ways to train attention, to train especially the attention of people in high stress, high demand, relentless kinds of jobs. She worked with Marines, with soldiers, with firefighters, with top athletes, and so on and so forth, and was able to succeed in substantially increasing the attention of these different kinds of workers to focus on the things they need to do. All right, let us look a little bit more about what attention is and how it messes up. Um, there are four kinds of, shall we say, failures of attention. One of them is what we call depleted attention. And this basically means that we are so tired from all the things that have been going on, all the stresses we've been putting ourselves through, that we don't have the energy to maintain attention. And she calls this depleted attention. Okay. Another favorite of mine is hijacked attention. And the word hijacked, maybe you know, it refers back to those bad, good, awful old days of prohibition when people illegally would bring truckloads of whiskey across the Canadian border into the United States. And there were other people waiting at the other side of the border, pretty heavily armed, and their intention was to stop the trucks, get the drivers out, and steal the trucks. And what they would say would be, "Get them up high, Jack," which was this. And so hopefully the driver would not be shot. They would just steal the truck and they would steal the whiskey. Your attention can be hijacked in a similar way. You're coming home, you are all set to study calculus, you're putting your key in the door. Suddenly, your roommate rushes up and says, "Oh, please, please, I need you to help me on this. I really need your help." Okay, so you immediately go to help your roommate. Whatever you intended to do before the roommate showed up has been hijacked, and now you're on his agenda or her agenda. Well, it happens, but it's still the attention that you had on the other thing is not available. A third thing is what they call fragmented attention. Okay, I'm home, I'm studying, we think. I've got my calculus book open, I've got a podcast playing, I've got music in the background, and there are two other of my suite mates having a rather animated conversation in the corner. And I might tell myself that I'm multitasking. You're not multitasking. Nobody can multitask. It's impossible. And even if you could do it, it's a waste of your energy. So that is fragmented attention, and we sometimes submit to this without even thinking. We don't remove distractions. creating fragmented attention. And then the final part is, I'm studying, I'm doing a whole bunch of things, and the next thing you know, I'm standing in the kitchen. And you're thinking, I came into the kitchen for a reason. What was it? Somehow your attention got taken away as you walked into the kitchen and you totally forgot why you came in. This is an example of disconnected attention. These are all of the big four things that can happen to take your attention away and weaken it. Now, there are three sources of this weakening, which we should know about. Um, One of them is stress. And stress is when you've got too much going on at once and you're feeling overwhelmed. That in itself is a fault of attention or inattention. But stress is a biggie at destroying valuable attention. Another is bad mood. You just don't feel right about yourself. You don't feel right about the world. You don't feel right about what you're doing. And it just seems to get worse and worse. And you're telling yourself these negative stories about you and about your task and everything. So the bad mood, again, in a different way, can destroy your attention and destroy your focus. And then the final of the big three, which has been our way since the Stone Age, is danger, danger, danger. The alarm goes off, or people rush in and say, the house is on fire, what have you. There are real dangers. We immediately go to the source of danger because we want to survive. We want to fix things. We want to get out of this alive. And so that completely takes our attention. Okay, so um, stress, bad mood, and threat are the big enemies of attention. Okay, so um, people in the real world who deal with these kinds of things every day, well, we get soldiers on deployment, we get Marines, we get firefighters, we get people in very high stress, demanding jobs with a lot of people trying to hijack their attention. Well, these became Dr. Ja's clients. And she says, my team and I study and train people in some of the most extreme, high stress, high demand professions: medical and business professionals, firefighters, soldiers, and elite athletes. And these people need to deploy their attention through extraordinarily high stress circumstances. Okay, so in her work, she was able to come up with a means, a training tool that helped these people to perform really, really well, and really, really well without a gigantic expenditure of time. And what did she come up with? Well, she came up with mindfulness meditation. Is anyone laughing? Well, a lot of people did laugh when she announced this was her focus as her project. They said, mindfulness is career suicide. Don't go there. It's too loose, it's too fluffy, no good. But she did this mindfulness work with a group of Marines to start out with. So if the Marines can do it and they think it's valuable, in high stress situations, chances are it really is. And she was proved right. The Marines were skeptical, but they came to believe because they saw the results. And she came to believe because she saw the results. And so it was. Hardcore, brass tacks, real deal mindfulness that works powerfully in the real world. Okay, so what did she do? Let us look at the first thing that she worked on with this group of people. And this is what the Buddha, I believe, used to call focus on the breath. But what she calls it is find your flashlight. She wanted to be real practical. So how it goes is as follows. You sit someplace quiet. You sit in a chair that's relatively comfortable in a place without distractions. And you breathe in and out through your nose for a few moments. And your job is to focus your attention on that spot, your nose with the air going in and out. Okay. Then your job is to keep your attention on your breathing through your nose. No big deal, right? Well, yes, big deal, because you probably can't do this for more than 5 seconds. So after about 5 seconds, you will find that your attention is somewhere else. So as she says it, as Dr. Jha says it, you have mind wandered. Just like you have your flashlight and it went off this way, well, your mind wandered and needs to come back. So you need to find your flashlight, bring it back. So um, focus, mind wander, recover focus, keep going. And the job was to do that continuously for 12 minutes. That would be one session, one 12-minute session of focus, wander, bring it back, regain focus, and so on. So most people apparently can't do this for 12 minutes. So she suggests starting with 3 minutes. And you gradually get stronger at doing this. Attention is trainable, as she says. And once you can do it for 12 minutes, then you're really ready to go with the program. So, what is the program? The program is you do one 12-minute session a day for 5 days per week, and you keep doing that for 1 month. 12 minutes, 5 days, 1 month, and after that period of time, you'll find that your ability to attend, your ability to pay attention to things is greatly strengthened, and you will probably be inclined to keep doing this type of meditation at appropriate times for the rest of your life. Okay, so that is her first attention exercise. Her name is Dr. Amishi Jha. Her book is Peak Mind, which came out in October of 2021. Dr. Jha has been on the internet. She's done at least one TED Talk. You can look and find her if you want to. I would recommend looking at the book, and I would certainly recommend trying out this little piece of mindfulness that we all just worked on. Okay, thank you for your attention, and this is Frank Crane wishing you a mindful interval, wishing you good attention, and hopefully we'll get together and study this area somewhat more closely and real soon. Thank you.